Hello, everyone. Welcome or welcome back to the Martini. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're having an amazing day. God, this feels so weird. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room. We have no time to waste, guys. Let's just dive right into it. Dirty Martini is officially a video podcast. And I officially, after talking about this for I want to say over a year and a half, have purchased a microphone. So if you think that your ears are lying to you, they're not. The audio is better, or at least it's supposed to be better. And I hope it's better because I invested a little bit. So I hope it is better. And no, your eyes are not lying to you because here I am in the flesh. Well, to you it's through a screen, but here I am in the flesh. And I just want to say that this feels a little bit awkward. I have never put myself in front of a camera. I lied, but I mean, I've done like little clips here and there, but I've never really thought about creating audiovisual content. And basically putting myself out there right now and adding video to the podcast is such a big step for me. I mean, it's a small step for me, but it's a giant leap for Dirty Martini. And I'm so incredibly excited, but I will be lying to you if I say I'm not anxious. If I say I didn't think about going and taking a few shots, because I was like, I don't know if I can do this sober. So now it honestly feels like it's the first time I'm pressing record. It feels like it's the first time it is the first time I'm using a microphone. It feels like it's the first time I am welcoming you to this space when it's literally almost about to be the 100th episode next week. And I just feel like so excited for what's to come. And yes, there are a few things I want to point out before we start with today's topics. Yes, I know the background looks a little bit bland. I will tell you about why it looks bland in a little bit, but I just really couldn't get myself to wait more, to wait until I make it aesthetic to actually create a video podcast. I was like, you know what? People have heard me through my worst stages. You and I, we know each other. You've been there for me through thick and thin, and in sickness and in health. And I feel like you deserve authenticity rather than a polished version. And that's why I am here, even though I really, yeah, with hair flying everywhere. Um, I don't have a table for my microphone yet, and I'm going to purchase one. But until I do that, because I went to buy one, but they didn't have the one I wanted, and I was like, I'm not going to buy one just to buy one. I want it to buy the one I want to buy. Crazy concept, I know. And now I'm just using my good books to support the microphone. And yes, this is very performative female of me. Obviously, the books are hand selected. We have Jane Eyre, we have 1984, which shouldn't have been a step by step rule of how to, you know, do politics nowadays. We have The Godfather, we have One Day, and we have Arabian Nights, simply because that's one of the few hardcovers I own, and I didn't want to use a textbook. I promise you, in this, I have water. It's not alcohol as much as I want it to be, because I feel like it's going to ease the tension. I thought about putting on a hat, but I was like, because that's the thing. Every single time, let's say I'm doing a presentation at university and I'm super anxious, what I do to ease my anxiety, because obviously I can, well, I mean, not that I cannot go and after having taken a shot to university, but it's not advised. So what I normally do is I just put on a bucket hat or like a hat with like a thingy in the front that's going to cover half of my face, because I feel like if I don't see you, you don't see me. And that's why most of the times when I present in class, I present without my glasses. But now I feel like I deserve to experience this fully sober, with eyesight, and I'm so excited. I know I may look awkward. I feel awkward. I'm literally just staring at my phone right now, talking to an imaginary someone out there. So please be kind, give me feedback. I am open to feedback, but please don't be rude because I don't even know if I should be looking at you. Am I looking at you right now? I don't know. I guess that's a problem for future me to figure out through editing. And when it comes to the editing of all of this, I know I'll find something in the mise en scène that's going to annoy me, but it's okay. I thought, you know what? You cannot edit something unless you create it. So I'd rather create it and then be frustrated over editing it than not having created it in the first place. I have turned on my fairy lights. Um, I know you probably cannot see them. I can barely see them, and I'm right here. And as you can see, I'm wearing glasses. If you're only an audio listener, by the way, yeah, this is a video podcast right now. I'm not promising that every single episode is going to be accompanied by a video. I don't know. See, here's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy video podcasting because I really enjoy podcasting, but video podcasting is a whole another beast. And I don't know if I'm ready for it, but I thought I would just give it a try. And I don't want to pressure myself into doing something I don't want to do and potentially starting to dislike the thing I love the most, which is Dirty Martini. So, if not every single episode is accompanied by video, please forgive me. I am still trying to navigate this whole experience. But this is so exciting. I feel like this is a completely new era of the Dirty Martini podcast. And I don't know if I'm ready for it, but I am excited for it. And what I'm excited most about is this little thing right here. Yes, I, after talking for so long about buying a microphone, finally went out and bought it. Because the thing is, I keep saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But then I stumbled upon this quote on Instagram, I believe it was last or the year before that. And it said, thinking about doing the thing is not doing the thing. Dreaming about doing the thing is not doing the thing. Planning to do the thing is not doing the thing. Maybe planning is necessary, but whatever. The only thing that's doing the thing is doing the thing. And the thing is, I had saved up the money to buy the microphone quite a while ago, but I never felt like I was ready. And I never felt like, oh, I'll just wait some, like next week, next week, next week, next week. And this next week ended up turning into a few months. And those few months ended up turning into half a year. And I just felt like there is no need for me to postpone developing this space when I love it so much. Because, yes, you may not feel like it's professional because, come on, look at this. Literally, the vibe I'm giving off right now is like as if I'm going to go downstairs and my mom is going to tell me that she has sold me to One Direction. And I'm loving it, by the way. If this is the vibe I bring to the function, I love it. Um, but yeah, I know that for you, well, if you've been here for a while and you're listening to this audio and the sound is so much more crisp, yes, it does feel like an improvement for you, but it feels like such a big step for me. And I always felt like something had to happen for me to take that step. And with the 100th episode coming next week, I thought, well, I'll just wait until the 100th episode. But then when I started thinking about what I want to do for the 100th episode, I was like, oh, but like, I don't think I want to do like video podcasting yet. I don't think I'm ready, blah, 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 blah. And I just kept on making excuses. And then I just really got pissed with myself because literally the only person that is stopping me from developing this place and this space the way it deserves is me. And I don't want to see myself as the enemy here, considering that I comprise the whole team of operations behind here, like in here. So I just want to enjoy it. I want to see if I like it. And obviously, as you can probably see, I have my Dirty Martini tank top. No, this is not merch. It's not official merch. I just saw it in a store and I was like, this is fate. And yeah, I'm very, very excited. I don't know what I'm going to do for the 100th episode, and I could have waited. I could have waited for the 100th episode to try out video and be like, oh, this is the new Dirty Martini. But like, why should I postpone development, postpone excitement, and postpone just adventure? I should just enjoy. That's something I always say on here, and I always struggle to take my own advice when I say life doesn't have to be pretty or aesthetic to be Instagrammable. Things don't have to be perfect for me to start doing them. And I think this is one of my big problems, that I struggle so much with being a beginner. I want things to work out from the first try like this. And this is not really healthy because I cannot be good at everything. And I feel like I deserve to find joy in hobbies and just in general life, even if I'm not great at them. Because I shouldn't have to be a master in a field in order to enjoy being in that field or in order to deserve being in that field. So maybe it's high time I started following my advice, because I'm so grand when it comes to words, but when it comes to actions, I'm a little bit like, oh, yeah, whatever. So yeah. Uh Hello. Let's just dive into it. I say literally after 12 minutes of recording. But it's okay. So guys, I want to tell you about how life has been testing me so incredibly much these past few weeks, because I feel like, and I know I say this a lot, but every single time I sit and wonder, what should I talk about about on the podcast? Is there something interesting happening to me or in my life that I feel like is worth sharing on here? And every single time I wonder, and every single time I think, maybe there isn't, maybe I need to think of a topic, and then just life is like, oh, you're looking for something, and then life just gives me a plethora of topics, which I appreciate because it's fun to tell on the podcast, but it's not necessarily the best to live through. So basically, guys, I just finished exams, or to be more precise, exams finished me. This exam period was something else. And I'm so frustrated with the way it ended because, okay, let's start from a little bit before my exams. Well, yeah, when I was in Bulgaria over Christmas, I didn't want to study every single day because I wanted to enjoy, I think, what was well-deserved time off. And so when I came here, I started studying a lot for my exams. And then I just want to say that whoever invented the concept of exams at 8:30 in the morning, count your days. Count your days. I don't know where you are, but I will find you and I will make you pay for it because this is genuinely poisonous. Because, for example, I had 3 exams this exam period, and 2 of them were at 8:30 in the morning. Yours truly lives an hour away from campus, and I told you, I believe it was not last week, but the week before last week, there was a lot, quote unquote, for the audio listeners, snow in the Netherlands. So the whole public transport system basically went to shit. And that meant that I had to wake up at 6:30 to be able to get ready and leave for my exams, to be able to arrive 15 to 20 minutes earlier, which isn't super pleasant because, I mean, not only am I not a morning person, but I am a very anxious person when it comes to me waking up early or like having a morning deadline or having a morning flight, having a morning trip, just having something to do in the morning. I hate it so much because I can never actually rest the day before. And now, because of this having to wake up at 6:30, and if I miss it, I miss my exam, and if I miss my exam, I have to do a resit, and I need to write my thesis when the resits are, so it's going to be like, like not pleasant. I just ate my hair. It's okay. I washed it. I didn't. I'm going to wash it. It's okay. Why did I lie to you? It's okay. But I put on perfume. I put on perfume for you. I know you cannot smell me, but I put on perfume for you, and I hope you appreciate that. Anyways, um and I just could not blink the night before my exams because I'm always just so terrified of what if I don't hear my alarm? What if my alarm doesn't ring? Has that ever actually happened to me? Has my alarm ever not set off? No. And the thing is, I have this fitness band on my wrist, and it wakes me up by vibrating on my wrist. And this is the way I prefer to wake up rather than my phone's alarm, because my phone's alarm, for those of you who are Apple users, the iPhone alarm is so incredibly traumatizing. Why the hell would I want to wake up with this sound? I wake up in panic. And I remember my friend, she would come over and sleep at mine a lot, and she would have this fire alarm. And this is how she would, well, the problem is she never woke up. And that shit would ring for minutes. I mean, like 2 or 3 minutes, and she's the type of person to set a lot of like alarms, let's say at 7:30, 7:31, 7:32, and it just kept on going. So I despise Apple alarms with my entire existence. And the thing is, I was a Samsung user before I had an Apple iPhone. When you use the default Samsung alarm, you feel like you wake up in a field of flowers. You're just eased into the world. You just are ready to take on a brand new adventure today. And when you wake up by using the Apple iPhone default alarm, you wake up and you just want to slit your wrists because you wake up in a panic and you think that there's fire and you need to evacuate. And I just don't really want to start off my day like this. So I just started wearing this fitness band that's waking me up by vibrating. And so, has it ever happened that it hasn't gone off? No. Am I convinced every single time I have to catch an early flight or I have an early exam that my alarm is simply not going to work for that particular day? Absolutely. Absolutely. Has it ever happened to me that I've not heard my alarm? No. Am I convinced that I'm not going to hear my alarm when I have to wake up super early? Absolutely. So that is just why I end up being so terrified of not hearing my alarm that I just end up not sleeping at all, which is not really great considering that you have to be like in a good cognitive state in order to do on your exams. But whatever. I go on the first exam, it went fine. Honestly, not to jinx it or whatever, this was the easiest exam I have ever had to do in my, what, 15, no shit, 17 years of continuously doing exams in school and at university. God, I'm so old. But then I had my second exam, it was fine. And then the third is where this episode was born. Can I just say that in my preparation for this exam period, I realized that, do you guys remember a few weeks ago, a few months ago, I believe it was, when I was starting off with my master, also with my pre-master, when I graduated from the bachelor, I was all up like at you telling you, hey, I think I might consider a second bachelor, a second master, maybe a PhD, hold me back. There is no need for you to hold me back anymore. I just simply convinced myself that at least for now, I'm never saying never, at least for now, I am done with studying. And the second I submit my final project, the second I submit my thesis, the second I defend that thesis, the second I submit that final exam, is a day of celebration and a day I think that's going to make me never look back. Because this genuinely, I don't even have the words for it. It was just low key, high key traumatizing. So, wait, I have my notes here. Yes, I do write notes for the podcast with my trusty Primark notebook that I got from there, that is in this ugly orange color, and I got simply because it was discounted. And at the till, they didn't give me the discount, and I was too afraid to tell them, hey, actually, it's discounted. You can literally see it over here on the label. And I was so scared, so I just paid the full price. And I feel like that just sums up the type of person I am. But yeah, so basically, during my first exam, the first one, I forgot to mention no buses. I had to walk there fully on ice, which not pleasant. But now with the third one. So the third exam I had was basically on my least favorite course I'm doing right now, and this is obviously how it works every single time. Dessert, I don't know why it couldn't be my favorite like course or whatever. It had to be the one I hated the most. And I was so incredibly anxious about it because it was such dry theoretical information overload, and no matter how much I studied, I just couldn't keep my mind off of heated rivalry, and I just couldn't concentrate. And while I love that for me, like thinking about heated rivalry, I feel like it's not their fault. It is really not their fault. I love heated rivalry, and I'm going to rewatch it. It's being put on HBO Netherlands right now, but they're putting it one episode up per week, and I just cannot not binge that show, you know. But maybe I should watch it like this, with according to the release schedule, so that I literally know what's going to happen. I've seen the series, but maybe it just gives me excitement. Whatever. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, my exam. So basically, that exam was at 8:30. I could not sleep. I could not blink the entire evening, and I was just so frustrated, and I kept on revising in my mind, and that was just not ideal. And then I go to university. I have to walk because there was ice, so there were no buses. I just remembered what I wanted to say about the first exam. See, that's the thing, because now when it's a video podcast, yeah, sure, I can edit it, but you can actually see where the edits are, and it's going to give away how disorganized I am with my train of thought. But it's okay, because we live and we learn. What I wanted to say about the first exam is that I am thankful it took place the day it took place, despite the hour, because all exams up until that point were cancelled because of the big snow, quote unquote, for all you listeners. So if they had cancelled that exam, they would have had to postpone it to this week. And this week I already had 2 exams. And if I had to do 3 exams in 1 week, or God forbid, 2 exams in the same day, that is the last thing I would do, because I would literally just, as I submit, slit my wrists. But it's okay. It's okay. So I go to that exam and I'm so nervous. I'm usually not nervous about exams. I used to be. Now I just genuinely don't give a shit, because in my perception, exams are not a reflection of your knowledge. Exams and your performance on them are, obviously, if you have studied, I mean, are so incredibly situational and contextual. And for example, now I had studied a lot, but I had not slept. So, whatever, it's not sleep deprivation's fault this time around, it's my own fault. So I open the exam and I press the first question. And the thing is, when you open the exam page, you see 4 questions, but I didn't scroll down. So I saw part of the exam page, the home page. So I immediately click on question 1, and question 1 opens up 7 questions. So I'm like, oh my God, how convenient. They just connected all the questions at once, so you can just scroll through them and write as you go, instead of going back to the home page and opening the next one. Yeah. Yeah. So normally, what they do at exams at my university, is when a question has sub-questions, let's say question 1, they label them question 1.1, question 1.2, or like 1A, 1B, whatever, whatever, whatever. This time around, they were simply labeled question 1, question 2, question 3. Hence, my perception that those were just separate exam questions, and I'm solving them. My exam is 2 hours. There was no word limit. I'm solving the exam. Everything is open-ended questions. Everything is essay questions. And I'm writing Pulitzer-worthy answers. I am writing answers that even I am like, wow, I'm so impressed with myself right now. And I take my sweet time, because there's no word count. So I'm writing, writing, writing. I'm developing every single point from multiple points of view, because I'm like, oh, I just know everything about this. And I was super impressed with myself for knowing everything about each question. And I was like, also, I was thinking, is that it? Because I studied a lot more content. So is it just narrowed down to that? And I spent an hour and a half solving those 7 questions. And then I'm like, wait, I think I'm done. Let me just go back to the exam homepage where the submit button is, so that I can submit. And I go to the exam homepage, and I know the submit button is at the end of the exam page. So I scroll down, which meant that I had to scroll down past question 1. And I'm expecting to see question 2, question 3, and question 4, the original ones that I had seen. And because when I pressed question 1, 7 opened, I assumed there were 7 questions of the exam. So I just assumed that what I'm going to see as I scroll down is my answers to all 7 questions being recorded. And then I scroll down and I just see question 1 in progress, question 2, question 3, and question 4 have not been started. I apparently had 12 more questions. Question 1 to 7 from question 1 were sub-questions. They were not the whole exam. And I spent an hour and a half out of those 2 hours that were allocated to solving that exam, writing those 7 questions, writing out my answers to those 7 questions. And 30 minutes before my time is up, I realize I have 12 more questions, all of them open-ended essay questions. And at this point, I feel like I've never felt that way. I started having an anxiety attack, which was it an anxiety? Was it a panic attack? I cannot really tell, but I feel like it was an anxiety. I start shaking. And I mean shaking. My hands are like this. I am just overcome by this heat wave in my entire body. And I am in shock. And I just sit and look at the clock on the wall. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? Because if in total I have 19 questions, with those 7, I simply cannot pass. And the thing is, I've never failed an exam, which I'm not saying as a bragging thing. I'm saying it as in it's a really inconvenient time for me to fail an exam right now when I'm just about to now start writing my thesis to hopefully graduate. So I open the questions and I start reading, but I'm shaking. I don't know where I am. I'm like just everyone around me is typing so fast and they're all so concentrated, and I'm reading the questions and I just simply cannot comprehend English anymore. And I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And all of the questions were case studies with sub questions, all related to that case study. And I didn't fully read the case study, but I gave answers to every single question. My answers were no longer Pulitzer worthy, and they were no longer something I was genuinely proud of, but at least they're there. They're not detailed. They're, for some of the questions, solely keywords. And I am begging, I am praying that I pass this exam, because the frustration is because as I was writing down, as I was typing, because initially I couldn't even type. I was shaking so hard. I was pressing the wrong keys on the keyboard. When I started, I mean, I was not calm for those 30 minutes at all, but when I just regained control over my body again and I started typing and started a little bit, comprehending the English language, I realized that fuck, I know the answer to every single question and I can develop such a nice answer, but I simply do not have the time. And this was so incredibly frustrating for me, which I know may sound like such a not big deal to you, which honestly, it's not a big deal, but it's frustrating because now, if let's say I fail, it's not going to be because I didn't study. And it's not going to be because of lack of intelligence. It's going to be because of stupidity. And because my friends are like, when I talk to them afterwards, they were like, when you open an exam, do you just not initially go through all the exams to see which one you want to start with? And I'm like, no, babe, I just press question 1 and then start responding. So I was fucking frustrated. And this was such a terrible way for me to start my day. And then things just kept on taking turn for the worse. Because after I finished the exam, I wanted to go and return these shoes that I had bought. Because I decided that I no longer want to be just a sweatpants and a hoodie girly. Hence, not what I'm wearing right now. I also want to be a little bit more, to look more put together. Let's just put it like this. and I found these really cute, high heel, chunky Mary Janes, and I bought them, but I bought them online because in the store they just didn't have good ones. Like they were the ones you try on, and they like uh the 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 thing the yes, I am literally googling the word right now because I strap. Um, the strap was just like broken. So I just ordered them online, and they arrive, and I try them on, and they look so cute. But I have, mind you, the heel is 9 centimeters. I wear sneakers every single day. And this is not me trying to be a pick me. I promise you, this is not me trying to be, she wears high heels, I wear sneakers. It's just, I am not trained for this as much as I want to be because I think they look so incredibly cute. And I try to wear them, I try to walk in them, and I realized that I had never put anything more uncomfortable on my feet. And I wore them for 10 minutes. I tried to go to the store, 10 minutes. My legs were bruised. My feet were bruised. My legs started cramping. And I was like, God forbid a girl wants to be a baddie. God forbid. Maybe I'm not developed enough to be a baddie. And all I want in life is to be a baddie, you know? And then I just admit defeat, and I know and I realize I come to terms with reality that I have to return them. So after my exam, I'm super fucking frustrated. And mind you, while I'm telling you this entire story, I just want you to keep in the back of your mind that throughout this whole experience, I am going through some of the worst period cramps I have ever felt in. And my problem in life, or at least one of them, is that I raw dog period pain. I don't know why. I don't know where I get off. I don't know what it gives me, but I raw dog period pain. And it has to be really bad, like hospital worthy bad for me to take a pill. But this time around, I was like, you know what? This is going to sound so terrible, but this time around, I was like, you were just so stupid, and like you basically ruined your chance at successfully completing this course and peacefully moving on to writing your thesis, so you deserve to feel the cramps, which is stupid, I know, but this is how my brain works, okay? So then I go, like I take a bus, I go home, and mind you, I felt so shitty after that exam. You know how, like, for example, if you're driving and like you almost get into a car crash and you just turn off the radio and you drive in silence? Yeah, that was me. I never walk without my headphones, especially to university, especially from university. I was wanted to be in silence because, and this time around, I didn't even think. I was just numb because on my way to going to that very first exam that I told you was easy, I didn't want to put on headphones because I wanted my mind to be clear and clean and just like start off fresh the morning and just focus on the exam. Because normally I start my day, I open my eyes, and this week it has been every single morning I wake up, and the second I open my eyes, I start thinking and singing Ayo Technology by Justin Timberlake. And I don't know why I do this, but I just always do. And that's why I didn't want to listen to any music before the exam, and that's why I ended up actually daydreaming throughout the entire 1 hour walk that I am on Coher Daddy, and I'm doing a full on blown like interview with Alex, and that we become besties, and that she signs me to the Unwell Network. A girl can dream, okay? But basically, after coming from that exam, I was so frustrated and I was so numb that I was just like this. Silence. The silence of the lambs. I've never read the book and I've never seen the movie. So I don't know if that reference is good. So, whatever. Um, but basically, I go to return the shoes and I take the bus. So, like, I'm going far, far. I take the shoes and I'm going to the store to return them. And the policy of the store is we take returns 30 days until 30 days after your purchase without asking any questions. And I go there and they start asking me questions. And the thing is, they were fully in the right, but I just think that the way they communicated with me was so unpleasant, and especially when I was already moody, that was just not the vibe I wanted to have in my life at that point. And I go and I'm like, "Hi, I would very much like to return these shoes. They don't fit me. They're not comfortable. So, would that be possible?" And they're like, "Yeah, whatever." They take out the shoes from the box and they're like, "I cannot take this." And I'm like, "Wait, why?" And they're like, "They have been worn." I'm like, "Yes, yes, I know, I know. But I wore them for 10 minutes. I've cleaned everything." They're like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, is there something we can do about like me maybe exchanging them or just like is there like another solution, another way we can go about the situation?" And that sales assistant just turns to their colleague and in Dutch, thinking that I will not be able to understand, just says, "Ugh, now I fucking have to explain to her in English." And that's the thing. I'm an understanding customer because I work with very not understanding customers. I think that if you work in retail, like the customer is never right. I don't give a shit. The customer is not right. But if you are going to treat me as if I just invaded your home and I ate your breakfast, then I'm sorry, but I am just going to be a Karen. I literally just was like, "Oh, okay, how unfortunate," and grabbed my stuff and left. But like, this is just like, can we kind of not be xenophobic? Because like, it's just not nice me solving any like one world issue at a time. Hey guys, racism is not nice, and xenophobia is not nice. Discrimination, not nice, not cool, not the vibe. But yeah, so I just admit the loss, take the L, and go back home. And I'm like, you know what? I will still try to return them or exchange them, but I need to go to a pickup point from DHL or PostNL. And basically, in my neighborhood, there's a lot of post boxes, but there's not a lot of points like offices where you can go and actually be helped by a service representative. And I am trying so hard to find a service point by DHL because in the box that they send you the shoes in, they send you a return label and they're like, you can use that return label both with DHL and with PostNL, and the returns are free and exchanges are free. And my goal was to return the shoes and see if I can exchange them. I was going to write them an email or whatever. Um, and I look on Google for a DHL point and I find one and I go there, but I am walking. My knee is hurting like a bitch. Do you remember that I told you I injured my knee? Yeah, it still has not improved and it hurts like a bitch. I'm cramping like a bitch. I am hungry. I am hangry actually. I've just potentially bombed an exam and I was just being xenophobic. And yeah, so like really not in a great situation. So I go to that point, pick up slash drop off point that's 15 minutes away from where I live. I go there just to see that it doesn't work. It's like it's not open. So I'm fucking frustrated. And like, like I know that now saying those stuff, they sound very minuscule. And they sound very like, why are you even mentioning this? This isn't something that you should even think about. But when a lot of shitty things, like even if they're little, happen right after the other, you just feel like it's the end of the world and you feel like everything is happening to you, at you, and it's targeted. And so I find another DHL point, which is so basically from my house, imagine I had to go 15 minutes like this. And then to go to the other point, I had to go 15 minutes like this. And I go there, and the lady is like, hey, yeah, wait, my hair looks terrible. Oh, not that this is better, but it will have to do. And the lady is like, hey, yeah, I'll try to help you. And we pack the situation, like the box. Well, we get it ready for shipping, and she scans my return label, and she's like, I'm so sorry. This doesn't work here. This is only for post NL. I'm like, what do you mean it's only for post NL? There is not a post NL point here. And she's like, yeah, this return label is only for post NL. Do you have anything for DHL? And I'm like, ma'am, this is the only thing I was provided with. So now I have to go and find a post NL point. And I did this. I had to go 15 minutes. Literally, I had to return to where I first went because 100 meters down, there was a post NL point. And I go there. I drop off the thing successfully. Finally, someone takes those fucking shoes off of my hands. Even if they don't return me the money, I don't want to see those shoes again because the entire experience was traumatizing. And from there, I go 15 minutes that way back to the second DHL post point. Never mind, third time's a charm because I wanted to buy a shelf. Because here on this white wall, I feel like we deserve some decoration that's going to look cutesy for like as a background for the podcast. So I buy a shelf, and I come home, and the thing is, I was so excited to put up my shelf, and I was like, oh, this shouldn't take more than 20 minutes. That should be easy. Famous last words. Um, because the thing is, have I ever put up a shelf? No. Have I actually ever drilled something with a drill? No. Do I own a hammer? I didn't up until that day. And when I have had to like nail a nail in my wall, I just use my water bottle because it's stainless steel. And I'm just like, whatever. And I just use my water bottle. But I have decided that I am going to approach life with the confidence of a white man. Because you know how white men approach a situation that, like, let's say, you're someone who has devoted their entire life to tennis and you've been practicing tennis for 15 years. You are a renowned champion. And then comes a white man who has never held a tennis racket in their life. They're convinced they can beat you in a match. So I want to approach life with that mentality because I don't know. I feel like that's confidence. That's definitely something. So I was like, how hard could it be? My hair, I need to fix it again. I'll just leave it like this because I am done with all of this. But basically, I am like, oh, it's just going to take 20 minutes. I'll have lunch after that. At this point, it's already 2 o'clock. I had not eaten since 6:30. And I realized that I don't have a drill. And I had bought a hammer, and I'm first I need to attach like the shelf stand, like metal legs, to the plank, and those metal legs, they're like an L shape. So now one side of the L shape you attach to the shelf, to the plank of the shelf, and the other side of the L shape you attach to the wall. And I'm like, oh, that should be easy. But then I don't have a drill. So the way, and I want everyone to be appreciative of my innovativeness and problem solving skills. Because the way I drilled holes in that plank was I took a nail, I hammered it in the plank, and then I removed it from the plank. And I think, I know this is not genius, but to me it is genius. And it was problem solving. And then I found a drill. Literally, after I made the holes, I found a drill. But the drill, and here is where the drill comes. I basically had to, I don't know if you can see them, I had to make these four holes in my wall so that I can obviously attach the shelf to the wall. And I first start, with the nail, because the drill I had, well, it's been left here from by previous tenants. It's not a sharp one. Gosh, this feels like such a white man segment of the podcast. But like, it's not a sharp drill, it's a dull drill. So it's difficult to actually poke through a wall. So I need to first make a hole and then drill once the hole has been made, like, to widen it and like deepen it. And I start doing that, and every single thing you see here, you see how my walls are white? Yeah, everything was covered in brick because I hit a brick, which is fine. But then on my second hole, I realized that I don't know if there's pipes going through that wall, and I don't know if there's cables. So I could potentially kill myself unintentionally. And that's how you know I'm super devoted to this podcast, because I am willing to die for it without really realizing it. And I'm just like, well, thoughts and prayers. Hopefully, like, hopefully there's no, I feel like that was sacrilegious. Hopefully there's no pipes, and I feel like there's no pipes. There has not been a flood yet. I feel like if there I hit a cable, I would know immediately because I would be dead. So that went successfully. But the thing is, I am trying to drill, and at first the hole is too what's the word? Not deep, shallow, too shallow. Then I drill some more, it becomes too deep. Then it's too narrow. Then for the thing I want to screw on, then it ends up being too wide. And I just cannot win. You see those four holes? Every single one of them is a different depth. I just hit myself in the face. It's a different depth and it's a different width. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm just going to screw on the shelf with just using different sizes of screws. So I'm screwing it on, and I've put it on and I'm super excited, and I take a picture for my parents, and my mom just calls me and tells me, "Hey, did you, I don't know what you call it in English, but like, did you put the plastic thing that you're supposed to put in the hole before you put on the screw?" And I'm like, "Plastic thing?" And she's like, "Well, yes. Otherwise, it's not going to be stable. And when you put 3 books on it, it's going to fall on your head and it's going to behead you." And I just simply could not win that day. And mind you, this entire process took 2.5 hours to put up a shelf. And the thing is, do you see a shelf put up? No. I had to take it down after working on it for 2.5 hours. And all I wanted was to make a nice, pretty, aesthetic setup for Dirty Martini's first audio-visual content, like, episode. God forbid a girl wants to something nice in her life. And then I just give up. At this point, it is almost 5 o'clock. I have not eaten since 6:30. I eat my leftover pasta, which was disgusting, and then I go with a friend to see Hamnet, and I was like, you know what? I had no clue what Hamlet was about, okay? I didn't know the premise. I didn't know anything about it. And then I just go there and I'm like, "Oh, I'm ready to relax. Paul Mescal. It should be something nice." I sobbed my eyes out. This, wow. I am hardly, no, that's a lie. I cry a lot to movies, but I'm not really that frequently touched by movies to the point of being that emotionally invested. But I feel like after the day I had, I was just, emotions had been turned up already, and I was sobbing. This is such a beautiful movie. The way the camera is used is beautiful. The acting game is chef's kiss. And just the way it's, like, the visuals make it look so authentic, real, and human. And wow, this is the first movie I see in the cinema this year. Like I told you, I want to continue my New Year's resolution of going to the cinema every single month at least once. What a movie to start off the year with. That genuinely, if you have not seen Hamnet, please do. It tells the story of William Shakespeare and how um he marries his wife Agnes, or Anne, Anne, I believe, depending on the source you're looking from, and they have children, and one of their children dies, and this is what inspires him to write Hamlet. And what a movie! What a story! I honestly, this movie deserves all the hype it is getting. It deserves all the awards it is getting. Every single person, like, you can tell how much effort was put into that movie. And I was just mesmerized by it. And I was trying so hard not to audibly cry. That was definitely mission impossible. Because, like, everyone is like, the theater is so quiet, and I just don't want you to hear me just howling like a what's the word, wolf, because a an actor is doing so well that I actually thought a child died. Beautiful movie, 10 out of 10, would recommend. Watch it. And then I go home, I have bulldog carbonara, and the day after, as I leave for work, I'm like, you know what? Yesterday was shitty. Yesterday, nothing went right. I persisted. I was very impressed with myself. And may I just add that with the drilling thing, I'm putting up a shelf. Yes, did I do it correctly? No. Did I give up? No. I'm going to do it. I just had to go and buy the correct materials, because the thing is, I didn't have also correct materials. And with incorrect materials, I just couldn't make correct stuff and correct decisions and correct, choices and actions. But I was impressed with myself. I was like, I'm so persistent. Nothing can bring me down. I am, wow, what a strong, independent woman. And today is a new day, and today is going to be better than yesterday. And as I step out of my house to go to work, and as I am playing Harry Styles' new song, which I have been waiting for 4 years, as I'm doing this, full of hope, full of excitement for all the opportunities today has to offer me, I slip, I fly into the air and land on my ass because everything was covered in ice and I hurt my ass, I hurt my wrist, and I just could not win this week. I really could not win. And then I went to work and everything that could go wrong went wrong, and we didn't have produce, so I had to go and buy 5 kilograms of tomatoes and I had to carry 5 kilograms of tomatoes. Do you know how much 5 kilograms of tomatoes cost? 30 euros. 30. Then I realized I had gotten the more expensive ones. But like 30 euros. Are you out of your mind? I know inflation is inflationing. 30 euros? My guy, give me 30 euros. I will build a tent because apparently I can build stuff. Just give me the correct drill. I will build a tent. I will garden them myself. What do you mean 30 euros for tomatoes? Fuck this shit, man. Fuck this shit. At least at the end of all of this, I went home and this baby arrived, the microphone. And what is something else? I also ordered a guitar because I have decided that I want to pick up the guitar. It pains me deeply that I cannot play an instrument, and I really want to solve this issue, quote unquote. It's just I want to develop myself musically, she said, knowing that she cannot even sing a correct keynote even if her life depended on it. But I really want to learn how to play the guitar. And yes, the first song I'm learning how to play, and I know I shouldn't start with songs immediately. I know I should learn first how the guitar is structured and how it works. I want to learn how to play Fine Line by Harry Styles because Harry Styles has a new album coming out. And I'm so incredibly excited and I hope it's good. And the people who are hating on the new single, tell me you're not a runner without telling me you're not a runner, because this is such a runner song. The second I heard it, I was like, this song belongs in Heated Rivalry because I love Heated Rivalry, and this song immediately was put on my running list, which hopefully I will get to utilize soon, but it all depends on how my knee recovers. But then I was just so filled with excitement. And then, I've been complaining about pigeons for almost 2 years now. What, like in 2 months, Dirty Martini, not a month and a half, Dirty Martini is going to be 2 years old, which is just crazy. By the way, I would like to celebrate in some way. I would like to do a giveaway. If you have any ideas of what you would like to receive from me, please do let me know. But basically, for those of you who don't know, I am struggling with pigeons. If I don't see a pigeon ever again in my life, it will be too soon. Because those little flying rats and those little flying shit boxes have infiltrated my balcony, and my balcony is unusable because they're nesting there and everything is covered in shit. So while I was supposed to be getting ready for those exams, I decided that I'm actually going to deep clean the balcony. And I spent an hour and a half cleaning shit. And I really wanted to throw up. And now thinking about it, it's just I feel the vomit over here, I of course I used gloves and a mask and like I was covered from head to toe, but it hit me in the eyes and my eyes just started burning from the smell. Ugh. I fucking hate pigeons. So then I went and I bought a net and I wrapped my balcony with a net, and they disappeared until one of them came back and decided that he's going to try and take down the net because he wants to nest in my suitcase that I can no longer use because it's been touched by shit. And mind you, I threw away everything. I threw away furniture. I threw away cleaning supplies. Everything I had touched, I threw away because I did not want anything shit related to be in the vicinity of my home. And I just, as I'm, having the time of my life, like contemplating my existence, I just hear a pigeon trying to take down the net and successfully doing so, part of it. So the net is like this. The pigeon puts it down from here and enters. I should do it like this so that you can see. You literally cannot see. I'm literally just using gestures without like showing anything, whatever. Enters through the net, goes on my suitcase, and I'm pissed. So I start banging on the window. That little shit gets terrified, which I get it, looks at me, and tries to fly away, flies into the net, gets stuck into the net, just starts twisting and turning, and I'm like, fuck, now what am I going to do? It just falls and flies away. Has it come back? It has not. And again, if I see a pigeon anytime in my lifetime on Earth, I will hate it. That's all I'm going to do. I'll just hate it. I dislike pigeons passionately. Don't nest in my suitcase. Don't cover everything I own with shit. Thank you. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. My sister told me that, like, with me not knowing what to do with my life, with me not knowing if I'm going to pass this exam and potentially, I don't know if I'm going to graduate from the master, she told me, well, now at least you have a guitar, so you can become a street musician. But I cannot even play the guitar yet, but I'm going to learn so that I can, if I want to, have the option, at least become a street musician, which is something I respect. Anyways, it's just this week, life was testing me. And I feel like I am failing the exam. And I don't know how to study for that exam. And I don't know what to do. So what I'm going to do is I'll go have dinner with my housemates. And we're going to go and watch People We Meet on Vacation. So guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening, for watching today's episode. I hope to see you, no pun intended, but pun fully intended, in the next one. But until then, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Bye!